Whoa, hi. You know,
Wait.
welcome.
Hold on, I gotta go live. Hold on.
But Tracy, I forgot to put my mute. So let's wait while you do that. Let
No,
me
no,
just
no.
put
It
on
was on my
my.
phone. That's it. It
No,
was
no,
on my
no,
phone.
not you. You know, when people call me, it's going to start going to mute. So let me just leave
Oh,
it right
it's
now.
okay. Okay.
Yes,
All right. Well, we're live, I think, on Facebook. Hi,
we are. I think we're
everybody.
live. Let's
We
see
are
here.
live.
So
I mean, mine says it's live. Look at us being
I think
fancy.
let's see here. I'm just going to switch over
Oh, three
to
people are in the audience too. Hi, audience. Two is in the audience.
focus and do not disturb. Okay, I think that worked. Okay, do not
There we
disturb.
go. Well, whoever's it doesn't show us who's in the audience, I don't think.
Doesn't.
Well,
Can we bring him?
no. Oh, that's just us two.
No.
That's it. You can see it. Anyway, but when people log in, you can see who it is. That's cool. We're learning. We
Oh,
fail forward.
are
All
you looking on
right.
Facebook?
So, yay, we're at the fifth.
I know I haven't kept up with it. I'm being terrible,
It's
but
fifth.
that's
Well, we
okay.
haven't posted the other ones because of somebody
We,
I know, but um,
I'm a slacker. I'm a
it's
slacker.
okay. It's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah.
My other partner, Karen, who I do a podcast with, called Fix This First, and she said it's good to have five banked before you go like to YouTube and all that stuff, right? To have five so people could watch.
Okay. Okay. 5 episodes, right?
Yeah. So that way so now we'll have five. So then we can just load them up and be good.
That's,
So
well,
okay,
welcome.
so Game and Gun Show. Here we are.
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome. I had a lot of ideas, and I'm like, okay, but you know what? Honestly, I'm all over the place. Right now, guys. I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm a little bit sick. I got a little cold. I got my coffee.
Same.
It's Atlanta, Georgia. It's about 30 degrees outside. Still freezing, but hang in there. Hang in there. So yes, and
Yes.
I feel like I'm in transition of like the weather, right?
Hmm.
Like I don't know about you, I feel weird. Okay, so I feel like I'm in the transition between winter and spring, transition of like holidays and the new year, kids in
Yeah.
school, kids in summer, uh, trying to restart my new year because my calendar, everything that we went over, like it just my calendar, whatever the stuff we did there, it sucked. My goal sucked. Everything just dropped. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like the new presidency has been staggering
Hmm.
because it's like all these different things. I'm like, I'm looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's there, but I'm just like, oh, I just got to get out of it. And then I'm sick, so I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways,
Well, they say,
that's my.
so it's like usually after Valentine's Day, around there is usually Fat Tuesday and then Ash Wednesday for people who are Catholic. And it's their time of giving up something before Easter, right? So you have this, so usually like you party hard, you have the Fat Tuesday, you have Ash Wednesday the next day. I grew up Catholic, but in candy world, that means people buy candy and chocolate for Valentine's Day, and then they kind of are on a fast, right? People give up chocolate, they give up meat, they give up whatever, right? They give up something for the next 6 to 8 weeks of what's left before Easter, which is interesting. And it's kind of like it's a reboot of like, let's get focused. And we do that kind of systematically, I think. I think we do that usually on January 1. People like reset, reboot what's working, what's not. But I think it's like an every other month kind of a thing, right? Because by the time you get through those 6 weeks or so, all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh, I've kind of waned off from my verve of like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be skinny, I'm going to be whatever, a millionaire, whatever it is, right? And so I think 6 to 8 weeks, you're like, need that reset, right? And I think we have them kind of with holidays and with the natural seasons, right? Those are quarterly. So like we have natural reboots for that.
I never thought of it that way. I thought I was just struggling,
No,
but then
no, no. So, I mean,
yeah,
so you were sick. I have not gotten sick, thank goodness. I was around my grandkids. We had some like emergencies with animals and whatever. They lost their dog this week and because he was sick, or she was sick. And so, but I was around them and I was like, uh-oh, because I have a day with Pace. So I'm flying out for that next week. And I was like, oh gosh, please don't be sick for that. Please, please, please. But I wanted to share like So I think I've been telling you, like, I'm like, okay, I'm really resetting. I'm really thinking positive about my future. I'm like laying the groundwork for all the things, right? So for my business exitable, which is the business consulting, for my candy store and the expansion, for our flipping, for we just decide to do like some pad split properties and chart. Like I'm laying the groundwork. I'm trying to figure out like what am I doing? I'm like moving everything forward just a little bit, and so, and we talked a little bit about mindset. Like, what if I'm the problem, right? Not like working hard, not effort, not strategy, but what if my mindset is the problem? Like, what if the way I look at things is the what's in the way? It's the one thing that's blocking everything, right?
Yes.
Like, and so anyway, so I've been working on that since the beginning of the year. And I know you were talking about doing something similar, about like just looking at things like always half full and as opportunities.
Yes. I was thinking about that actually this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, I listened to his podcast. It's called Your Mind Within or Your War Within, right?
Hmm.
This guy, I forgot his name, but I was listening to it. It was the same thing, and I think about that too. It's like it's my mindset. Even though I think I creeped up a little bit
Uh-huh.
along the way in life, I'm
Yeah.
bad, but I think the mindset is still blocking me. So it's so true, and I was just listening to it seriously before I got on 10 minutes ago. I put it in my ear. I was getting ready. I was running around trying to get ready, blowing my snot, and I was like, okay,
Ah,
because I
well,
remember I texted you this morning. I texted you and I said, hey, let's just cancel. I'm not feeling well. I'm like, screw it.
nope.
Let's just keep
Just keep
going.
going. Keep going. Well, so
Yeah.
that's it. And that's my nature, honestly, like my whole life. So I've got 53 years of this methodology of survive and conquer, right? Like crap happens, I figure it out and I make it happen. I push through, I shove it through. Instead of flowing, I'm shoving through. I'm a survivor. But what if, which I've always like kind of held like a badge of honor, like no matter like that I'm strong, that I'm independent, that I'm capable, that no matter what the world throws at me, I'm going to overcome and I'm going to make lemonade, right? That's a mindset, which I don't think it's a bad one. But what if the expectation of crap happening is where I'm going wrong, right? Because I'm always prepared for what's coming, right? But what if what was coming was only a blessing? If I only
Yeah.
saw a blessing coming instead of tragedy and difficulty, right? Or if I perceived it as a gift, not as a difficulty to overcome. So this is kind of what
Uh,
I've been thinking about.
are you saying that you are anticipating the hard
I think because that's my
more
pattern.
more than the success, right? You're like, okay, I know it's going to get hard, and you're anticipating it. Is that what you're saying? Just out of clarity, like it's just
Well,
because
yes
I'm
and
thinking,
no. I mean, yes, but I think also things do happen. But do they happen
yes,
because I'm expecting them to happen? Right? It's like
okay,
when you see the glass
understand.
half full or half empty. Both are
Yes,
true,
yes,
right? But how you view it and what you do with it, right? So if I'm expecting it that it's probably going to be hard and difficult, but that I'm going to overcome, if that's the mindset, instead of this is going to be easy and fun and going to be a blessing. Everything's just
yes,
working for me. Very different mindset. Still both overcome, still both are hardworking, still both
yes.
work towards the goal, but different. The filter's different, right?
Okay.
Now I've been all these years training my brain to like, nope, okay, that's crappy, but I'm going to do this, 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 and this. I'm going to make the lemonade. But what if it was only lemonade anyway? I didn't have to make it anything. What if it was
Yes.
already? Right? So okay, so that is kind of leading into my big news. So like, so I've been working on that, and I'm sorry, I'm like leading you in there. So I've been like really working on that, and I've been like, I'm not really a woo woo kind of girl, but I'm really just trying to change the things that are going into my brain. Like instead of perceiving it negative and changing it into a positive, what if I only see it as a positive? So there's not a lot of work to do, and I've been really
Yes.
like just trying to change my wiring. So anyway, we had this opportunity recently that kind of came along, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. And I'm going to really like visualize myself succeeding. I'm going to see it as the opportunity. I'm going to go into this knowing that I've got it and it's done. It's a done deal. And I'm just going to wait for it to happen. And that's what happens. So I, last week, applied to be on Dealmaker. Like it's like our version
Oh,
of Shark Tank from my
yeah,
candy store. And I only heard about it on Monday. I traveled Tuesday. So on Wednesday, I just spent the day putting together my plan. Like, what if I were to go in front of 1,000 people who had money? What story would I tell? What would I want from them? What would help me to get where I want to go? And
yes,
just sometimes being in the room is all you need, right? And so I was like, this is what it is. So I spent the whole day, I laid it out, and I was just like, I know they're going to pick me. I just know they're going to pick me all day in my head. And I just knew. And so Tuesday, I got the email like, you were chosen. I was like, now I was like, yeah, yay. But I was also like, I knew this. Why am I so excited? Because I already knew. So that happened. So I have my day
oh,
with Pace next week, and then 3 days, 4 days later, I have to be back in Arizona to to present.
wow, congratulations.
It's
That's awesome, awesome.
scary and
Oh,
exciting. Like it's
yeah,
super exciting. Like, and I know my story, right? This is the thing about when we talk about our business, we know our business. We're in it. We
yeah,
built it. We understand. So like I'm going to be pitching me and the business and how that weaves in with my big goal of helping business owners exit their businesses because that's what I'm doing, right? I'm building
exactly.
for that. I'm
It's really
proving it.
me too. I'm the same way. Yes, it's like how do I? And that's what I want to talk about
Yeah.
a little bit later today. It's like I don't know if it's exiting, but it's like what do we do? Anyways, but I'll get back to that later.
No.
Continue. Yes, yes, yes.
No, no, no. So that's it. So like that's so I have this now. I'm visualizing. So I was visualizing the end goal because this is the what if this is the domino? Boop, right? Sometimes like you get attention and all of a sudden everything lines up, right? So
Yeah.
like all of a sudden I'm going to have attention. I'm going to be in front of Pace and Matt Sorensen. I'm going to pitch to 1,000 investors and be online and be on his YouTube channel and all these things present, right? But people will
Yes.
know me as the candy lady, right? People will know what I'm doing, what about my story, about how I wound up in this business, about why I'm doing what I'm doing, about why I'm in Charlotte, about how I came in, all those things, all my mistakes and victories and right? It's not going to be a day long show, but like it's a half hour total, 7 minutes of me presenting. But I've never done this on this kind of scale before. I've done podcasts and stuff, but so isn't that exciting? And what does that mean? So now I'm visualizing like what's next? Like what's my new victory visual, right? Of what that looks like.
It's you telling. I mean, it's you having the platform to tell your story, right? Because I think sometimes you were talking about overthinking. I'm the same way because as a being in small business for 18 to 20 years,
Hmm.
I don't remember, but it's just sometimes we overthink, like you say, okay, it's all the negativity, and we're like, okay, what if,
Hmm.
or care for the hard, but we don't think about the success side of it. So it's like we're one
Yeah.
side of it is just working, 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 and this side is trying to come in, but we keep blocking this side, right?
Right.
So I think that's exactly my point. Is that as we do have the experience, we do know the business, but we are so focused and prepared for the hard things that we don't allow the good things to come along
Hmm.
easily. They do come.
Yeah.
We do have our wins, but we're so ready to put up our fight that that's it's a challenge, right? So what I think is now what I've learned is that just go out there and be yourself. Tell your story.
Yep.
Just get out there as many people as possible to tell your story, right? Get the news out. Tell people this is who I am. This is what I do, and let it just kind of lay out. Like the good, the bad, it doesn't matter
Hmm.
because we are more valuable than we think it is. You and I
Yeah.
have talked about this. Like we sometimes think like, oh, this person whose persona is like, oh, they're this, guru of this small business, the guru of this, and the guru of that.
Right.
Well, we in our brains, we put ourselves so low, and then we're like, wait a minute, but I've been doing this for 18
Hmm.
years. Like I understand employees and business and kind of how the
Exactly.
business trends, right? Talk about January. I can tell you, at least for my business, January after December, after New Year's, it's just everything just slumps, right? Up
Hmm.
until Valentine's, and now we have this little bit 2 weeks, and then hopefully the weather helps out, and then our business is back up again.
Hmm.
It's the natural. It happens every single year, and
Yep.
every single January, I'm like, I'm holding on and like putting on my armor and getting ready for the tough 2 months, right?
Yes. Well, and I think too, like I just did a series on my LinkedIn and all my socials about I used to use this phrase about when the fishermen can't go to sea, they repair their nets. Like, what do you do when you can't do the thing you are supposed to be doing, right? When all of a sudden it's quiet. Like, do you use that as your opportunity to improve, to clear, to clean house, to clarify, to budget? It's like when staff and it's quiet, okay, I give them a project that has to get done, right? I assign work. Like, what are we doing in those down times to help us to get clear and get further, right? Maybe there's a reason for that ebb and flow, right? Maybe there's a reason for that pause so you can prepare for the next. Um, and if you don't see that and you just woe is me because there's a pause, well, what's the point, right? There's
Exactly.
always an opportunity. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Um, and yeah, like and here's I'm going to say this is a blessing. Like I have not done. I mean, I've done a lot of podcasts and I like to talk, obviously, but um, being in front of Pace and some other guy that I don't know is hard to do. And so I'm glad that the week before I will also spend the day with him so I'll feel more comfortable. Did I lose you
Yes.
entirely? Do I just keep talking?
No, I'm
Or are you there?
hearing.
Oh, I can hear you. Good. Okay. As long as we could hear you.
Is my camera off again?
Your camera's off, sir.
Oh, in 1 second.
That's
It's
fine.
just my or
So
I
anyway, so
probably
yeah,
need
so
to.
that's what I was thinking about today. And I was like, oh my gosh, like how exciting. And have you ever read the book The Gap and the Gains?
I have a
Okay.
long time ago. I kind of remember, but yes, I remember.
So, but the idea is that we, especially as business owners, we're always moving the finish line. So, like, we
Yes,
set out to run this race and we're going to have this business, we're going to do this, 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 and we're always moving the finish line further and further. So, as we
yes.
make progress, we've moved the finish line. So, we never feel like we're making progress and we don't acknowledge that we're making progress because we still see that it's so far to go, right?
Oh my gosh, that yes, that is it. That's always we're always moving it. We're always like, okay, what's next? What's next? Yes,
Right.
always.
Instead of like saying, wow, look at how far I've come. Like, look at,
Yeah.
and don't you think so? I was writing a content piece this morning. Thank you, ChatGPT. And as you can just throw your ideas in there and they'll gives you kind of a polished version. But like I was thinking about business is just like raising children, right? I was thinking somebody said to me, what's your like most raw, joyful experience? Like what is your one event in your life that if you could pick it, like just that if you thought about it, you could feel all the things, right? And I was like, okay, the birth of my children, right? So
Okay.
those are all, but also there was one other time when I first became a Christian. I was thinking about all the fact that like I was brand new, that I was forgiven, that I was safe, that I was loved, that there was a plan for me. Like I remember, again, I was like 19 or 20, but I remember feeling all that and feeling like I have a purpose. Right. And so it was like I was a new life. Right. And so then I was thinking to myself, like, oh, my children, like, so those four examples are like my happiest memories. And they're
Yeah.
vivid. Like I can tell you who was there. I could tell you, all the things, right? And there's pain involved in childbirth, but like it's a new life. It's a new creation. It's like all the opportunity. Your purpose is clear. You have all this ahead of you. You have so much joy. And I'm like, business is like that. Don't you think like when you started your business, you felt all those same things?
I remember clearly. I remember when my partner and I, we opened up the salon. Like the night before. Not the day that we opened it, but the day we moved the salon over to this location.
Mhm.
It, it's in Midtown, so it's a completely different location than.
Mhm.
But it was our second. And she woke up and she's like, "Oh, let's go. We got to go to the store." Like she had this dream that it was going to be busy. It was our first. I think it was our first day, but we opened up the doors. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. Someone wrote a piece on us, like one of those. I think it's called Candy. I don't know if you remember, like, 'cause it's called Candyland or Candy something. It
Yeah,
was a flower way back.
Candyland. Yeah.
I don't know if it was Candyland, but it was something with candy. It was a blog. It was a very popular blog, mostly for women.
Okay.
And they wrote this piece on us, and it went online, and the phone just rang off the hook.
Oh
And it
my
was
God.
probably that we opened up at this location, and it was like the start of our like race to build. I mean, at this time we had 2 locations, and a few years later we had 10 locations. Like it was
Right.
just it grew so fast. Gosh, I wonder if we remember this blog. I know it's very popular back then. It was blogs, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't really media, but it was called Candy something.
All right, you'll
I don't
think
know
of
if you
it.
look.
But I mean, think about
Yeah,
it. Like she thought, like it's going to be busy. Let's go. And she just
it's,
knew it would be and prepared for it, right? And it's like,
it's,
well, what about us? What about like what we're doing, right? What if we just knew? Like, what if I knew that I'm going to go, that I'm apply this deal maker and I'm going to get picked? What if I just knew that now when I go and I present that I'm going to get funded and I'm also going to get known and that people are going to know what I do. And that's going to open up this next opportunity. I'm going to show, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to be powerful and effective and personal and relatable, and so much so that Pace is going to be like, hey, you're going to do something at Squad Up, and then after that, right? He's going to recommend me to somebody else, and then I have a vision of me and Cody Sanchez on a panel, like she's talking about buying business and I'm talking
yeah.
about selling, right? But I'm just saying, like that's all possible, and I could dream it in my head and just know it's going to happen, and then the tricky part for the owner is to just let it go and not micromanage and be watching like where is it, how come it's not here yet,
Yes.
right? And just let it be, just let it be,
But
put it
how
out
many
there.
people are
Hmm?
that also story?
Yeah.
How many people that in their shoes that has the same story that needs to hear your story?
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. It's not just about me and wanting to be a millionaire and all those things, right? Or wanting to be successful and wanting to know that I did it. Those are all nice things. But the bigger purpose that I was praying about today was like, this will help so many people. Like, no, just my story. And again, somebody else could also stand up and tell the story too, but really there's not the story out there and it's important. And business owners
Yes.
matter, and them getting their business to be in a place where they can exit, whether that's just not being there all the time or sell, matters. Those businesses matter. When businesses disappear, it hurts our economy, hurts our towns, it hurts our communities. Like it matters. And so like I'm just like a little tiny cog in it, but willing to do the thing, right? I'm like, all right, I'll say it. So I'm excited and I'm like, okay, I'm just putting it in there. I'm not even letting nerves get in there. I'm just like, I'm not a professional speaker. And maybe that's the advantage, that I'm not fancy like that, right? That I'm just what you see is what you get, right? Candy lady.
You're authentic. You're very authentic. You're authentic. I mean,
Yes,
it's
you
just
see,
who
I
you are.
mean, there's not a lot of illusion here, right? So, but I think that's relatable. And the lady that I'm planning the 2-day event with, like that was her point. She's like, "Well, I like that because it's real." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yay." So, anywho, so that's what I'm thinking. Like here we are, like thinking about what are our visions, right? And do we let our visions get pushed out by all of our worry about either making the vision come true or how can it come true because, ba 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 ba, right?
So I have a um I'm actually you see my eyes keep going this way
You have a call?
because it's off. No.
Uh,
I'm looking at our live.
oh, okay. You are on Facebook. There we are. Hi.
Looking at it, I'm just curious because I've never done this before. So
No,
yes,
I hope it works. It's working.
I, but I need your help. So
Okay.
some ideas, right? So we are at in my other business side or the small business side, well,
Yeah.
outside of the real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a salon,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm coming up. You and I have talked about this, and it's just kind of even rebooting it with the idea of like cash flow, right? Like what Pace is talking about. So we have one location that we own, and we have 2 locations that we license to, right? So at this point, we are at the renewal point. So like, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
Do we sell it? I know selling business is really hard at this point,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do we sell it? Do we keep going with it? Because we were at the renewal point,
Mm-hmm.
and we had one of our girls that is with us, she was pregnant, so she had to leave, and then one quit. So we're down to two. We had four girls, and we're down to two.
Mm.
So we're very slim, and actually one and a half. And I was talking to my partner about it, and I was like, okay, and you and I talked about a lot of small business. Like, what do we do? What if I get in there and I spend, you know, 3 hours a week, 1 hour a day, or something where I'm just there, like money making activity is what Pay say, right? So what if I
Hmm.
start reading, and that's what I want to talk to you about, because in business, all the same. It's like how many, when I had the restaurant, it's like how many butts, we call it, how many butts do we put in the seat?
Or in the
How
seat.
many butts can we,
Uh-huh. Yep.
what do we do, right? And then you hear, back then we market on, we would spend ad money. We would spend ad money on magazines. We would
Yeah.
spend ad money on blogs. But nowadays it's different. Nowadays it's social media,
Yeah.
putting it out there, social
Influencer.
media,
Yeah.
influence,
Reviews.
and like ads, right? Facebook ads, Google ads. I want
Hmm.
to hear your angle
Oh, I have the
because
perfect thing for you. I have the perfect thing. Do it. I mean, it would be a good case study.
yeah,
Um, for what I'm doing with my candy store, right? Remember I told you about, I think I told you about it. But basically what it is like how would your business change with one extra customer every day? And how could you
yeah,
start that machine and build a machine that's completely automated that will make that happen, right? And you lay it out and
yes,
you build it. And then and the bait, right? If you go fishing, you need bait, right?
yeah,
I mean, and so for
right,
you, it's even better because if you catch somebody and they're happy with what they get, they're going to just keep coming. They're going to keep
yes,
coming every 4 to 6 weeks. Now,
yeah.
candy is a little different.
But that's the thing, that I haven't done that in a long time, right? Because I've
It's
been
not
that
hard. I mean, it's not hard for
from this,
me.
yeah, but from the story standpoint, is that I've been that tired. I call it landlord, but the
Yeah.
tired business owner.
Tired owner.
We stop pumping
You
ideas, and we
stop
stop
putting
pumping in.
things in.
Yeah,
And eventually
and
it
it's
runs
just
dry.
and it's running itself, but it's slowly dwindling down. So I was like, okay, what
Right.
do we need to do? To
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a quick uh, break to get coffee, and my nose is.
Go
I got
ahead,
to
do
go to
your
the
thing.
rest.
So I'm going to tell you what I think, right? And this is what I'm
Okay,
doing, and I'm proving. I always test on myself first before I go out and tell people what to do. Even
okay,
if I learned from somebody else, that I test it to see, like, is this true, right? Is it me? Is it my malfunction? Is it whatever? But so I've been testing the last month. Now, January is the worst month of the year, like by far for candy. Everyone's on a diet. Everyone spent too much money. It's the worst weather. It's just all the odds are against us. So, but I started it in January and I started to churn. And so basically the what I built is, and I actually have a
okay.
sheet for people if they're interested for it. But basically, I
Can I?
put on Facebook. Go ahead, go.
1 minute. I just got to blow my nose. I'll be right back.
Okay, go
Let me
ahead.
call you. Blow my.
All
Give me
right.
1 second.
Are you
I'll
going to
be right.
be in the room? Will you hear me? No.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay. There he goes. I thought he was going to do it while I was on, while I was talking. That would have been a good time. So, I mean, hopefully this is helpful for people watching. Like most people don't have consistent deal flow, meaning consistent leads. So, where do you get your leads from? How do you get them? And leads are not customers, but like, how do you get a customer? How do you get a lead? Where do you find them? Who are they? Right? That's a whole process, right? We would call that a customer value journey. And it starts with who are your people, right? You can listen while you do your thing. That's fine. And so, but my point is like, who are your people? You have to kind of take a sense of like, who are your people? Figure out who your avatar is, and because yours is probably more niche than they live near us, right? But the reality is, like for me, for candy, it's really anybody who likes candy. It could be very broad. I mean, but it's nicer if it's niche down. But then you have to think, okay, well, what do those people want? How can I get those people to come to my salon or my store, right? And an easy way, it's a cheat code, is something free. You have free bait, right? It's like, okay, free snack. Go ahead.
So that's what we started to. And thank you for that. I needed that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, my
that's
nose
okay.
gets so stuck. But so I was talking to my staff. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
spent like an hour a day, right? So I spend an hour just getting on the phone. And I was like, okay, we're gonna put energy back into the business, right?
Yep.
The key is we all the business is all the same, right? It doesn't matter what it is. So in my construction business, but remodel business, like okay, all I have to do is keep posting, keep putting it out there, so and then put ads out,
Mm-hmm.
put ads, especially
Mm-hmm.
social media ads, right?
Right.
Talking about ads, as I'm scrolling through the different ideas and ads yesterday and last night. Oh my gosh! Like as I'm listening to because what I'll do is I'll paint something and I'll put YouTube on,
Yep.
and I put every other music that it would transition over talking about ads, Pace would pop up. And he
Me
popped up. I'm
too.
like, oh my God.
Like, why is he
I,
targeting me? Doesn't he have enough of my money?
oh my God. He popped up like 20 times last night. I'm like, okay,
He's
get off
retargeting, and he's
yeah.
retargeting. Yep.
I'm like, get off my channel.
They should choose a little bit different, but I mean, he's again, it's still top of mind, right?
Yeah, but my point, sorry guys.
No, you're good.
But my point is that so he keeps popping in, popping in, popping in. So there's a thing there. So the same way for us is like, okay, so with the remodel, if I post enough ads, I put enough ad spend
Mm,
or ad cost,
yep.
it's more eyes on you.
But it
And
doesn't
it's
have to
not,
be a lot. That's the thing that I don't think
that's
people
what,
realize. I'm get
with so many markets, because like, let's talk about like, okay, so Facebook is a very targeted,
hmm
right? Let's just say,
yeah,
oh, this one's, it's not even Facebook, it's YouTube. It's a very targeted ad, right? And I don't know how much you need to spend. That's what I
you
want.
don't.
Maybe we'll talk about the next episode. But it's just
Right.
so that's one thing on the
hmm
business, right? My salon business is the same way. It's like we people just got to know we're here because they're going to drive by the salon. They're going to drive by other salons. They're not going to really stop by. And then back in the
Give them
days,
a
how we
reason. You have to give them a
yeah
reason to. People are in their pattern, right? People, they
yeah
get up, they get the kids to school, they eat breakfast, they get a coffee at their same place, they go to their work, they drive home, they go to the store, they come by. They are on their hamster wheel. And you have to kind of get them off of their normal routine. You have to have a pattern interrupt for them to notice you.
yes yes. But that's why like we talked about, and I think I'm kind of going all over the place. I want to kind of pinpoint it back
No,
to
no, that's fine.
the like the back in the days we used to pay sign spinners, right? Sound go out there and spin the sign,
Yeah,
spin the
yeah,
sign,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Well,
And I think they still do that. It still works. But going back to the ads, and Hormozy talks about this a lot. It's like, what do we like? How do we? At the end of the day, it comes down to ads, right? So we got to put ads. We got to spend ads and ad money. I think, and you're the expert at this more than I am. Is not as expensive as I thought it
no,
was. I think
it's
that
not.
because
hmm
it's very pinpoint. You want to go Instagram. You want to go TikTok. You want to go Facebook, or you
Yeah,
want to
you can
go.
spend on all of them, but the reality
Yeah,
is, so like Pace is spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Alex Hermosi spent like $500,000 to give away stuff for free when he did his big book launch. Like you can
yeah,
spend, but the reality is until you know it's working, you don't want to spend. So like what I'm
yes,
doing just in my store, I was spending $1 a day per store. I have a geolocation and I'm offering them something free. So you need to know who you're talking to. You need to know where they are. You need to offer them something they want. And then you have to test it. Now, it could be any number of those things, could be the wrong thing. So it could be the wrong offer, could be the wrong location, could be the wrong demographic. It could be the wrong terminology. It could be the wrong media, meaning I was doing for a while, I was doing a picture like free candy. But when I did a
yes.
video like, hey, McCannaville, I'm the new candy store, I'm the candy lady, blah, 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 that performed. So I got 5 cent clicks for me on a video and 20 cent clicks for the picture.
That and people love video. That's the one thing
They
people
do.
love.
And so
Love,
that's what you
love.
should do. That would be my advice, right? But my point is I was doing that for $1 a day. So for 5 cents, I'm getting 20 opt-ins. 20
Yes,
of people who said, yes, I would like that. I mean, And that doesn't mean they're all going to come, but what if for $1 a day you could just raise awareness that you exist?
Exactly, exactly. So going back to my to the salon. So now I'm like, okay, so let me now my ideas. I'm working on rebooting it, right? So I'm like, okay, guys, what do we do? So we're just some ideas. So we're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I know I'm gonna do in our next episode, guys. Just want to just bring it up. Right? We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about this. Help me out with this. But but as we go coming to an end of today, I just want to go over some ideas.
Sure.
So the ideas is that we're going to offer free waxing service, right? So we do
Ooh.
mostly Brazil, right? So, but we're like, okay, come in for your first service would be like a free underarm, right? It would take, you know, 5 minutes, right, to do an underarm. So as a salon, offer free service because I saw this with another waxing place, but like, okay, offer free service, have them come into the door, and I told my girls, I was like, if you can't turn a free service into additional service, then shame on you. That's on you, right? You know,
Right.
this business is good. Your business, so it's because I. That's what I tell them. I said, guys, this is you're running your own business within our
Mm-hmm.
brand. This is
Mm-hmm.
your. So we're pushing that, but that's one idea. Is like if we can start marketing that, how many people are going to show up? How many butts in the seat? I'm using restaurant term. How many butts in the seat can we get in there?
Mm-hmm.
And once we get in there, I'm sure our girls can win them over with additional service. At least I would say at least 50% of them. You know, you're going to get somebody to come in. It's just going to
Yeah.
be free service. If they're going to move on, that's fine. But those are one idea. I'm like, okay, let me start changing. Let me start putting energy back into
Mm-hmm.
this. You know, because it's just we haven't done this in a few years.
Are
Like
you
we've been kind
targeting
of neglecting.
people who do it all the time, or are you targeting newbies? I've never
No,
waxed. So like,
it doesn't matter who. The only
uh-huh.
thing we just want people to come to the door, right? So
Well,
we
I
have
do, I mean, on some level, it does matter who. You want them in the seats. I get it. But if you got them and it was the first time and you got them, won them over, that's a whole new customer versus someone you're versus getting a customer from somebody else. So somebody else is servicing other people now. So you're winning them over
yeah
from that other. But the
that
other
too. But
pool is people who've never done it.
yes. So I think whoever, to be honest, whoever walks through that door, right? Whoever comes in and books the appointment. So I just think I don't know whoever comes through the
I'm
door.
just saying
But the
your
thing,
your your advertising is different for both is what I'm saying. Right?
oh, okay,
Right.
think
You're
this is why we
marketing
have
it like, have you ever thought about doing it, but never have because you're this, and this? We make it easy,
yes,
fear free, and we're going to do it free to help you to
yeah,
see it's not as scary, that you can understand, right? Whatever. Like, you could be that person.
yeah. But that would be one, right? That's one way, right? Like
That's
how do
one
we?
person.
Because
Right, right. So free wax.
how do
Okay,
we?
cool.
So what other options? Like what else can I? So that's one, right? The second thing would be because remember, this business that we've had has been around for like 18 years,
Right.
maybe 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So it's been around for that long. So at this point, we were there. We have a base, even though
Mm-hmm.
we went, 10 to to 3,
Mm-hmm.
but the base is still there. Like it's not like starting fresh. We
No.
have everything. We just have to put it.
Right.
So one changing that. The other way is I know we didn't think we had thought about it, but now we're thinking more about it, especially with you, Tracy. It's like our mindset is how do we exit? How do we exit? Right?
Right. What?
Do
How
we
you build
do we
long
help?
term value? Mm-hmm.
How do we build long term value? There's I feel like what I've seen is that our business has increased, but I think there's several reasons. This is my theory. I think that before our competition, we had no competition and we killed it, right? And now, as anything good, competition comes along,
Yeah.
and I think all the nail salons started doing waxing because we do mostly waxing. So the nail salons started doing waxing.
Mm-hmm.
So the and so many more business was opening up. We're
Yeah.
now in a I think businesses are shutting down. People are just
Mm-hmm.
giving up on the business. There's less money to be made.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting residual where it's like, okay, we're going full circle. Now I think it's coming back, right, for us, at least what we see with our numbers. Because I think a lot of competition kind of went away and we're
Right.
still around. We're steady.
But you're
We're
the
walking a little
OG.
rare.
So you can play on that because you're like you are the OG, you've been around long time. Like, people, if they had to choose brand new versus stayed and true, right?
Yes,
They would go with the more one that's been around longer because they're
exactly.
more
And,
trustworthy. They're still there.
So that's why I want to kind of pump the business back,
Yeah.
like pump business a little bit more. But also, we talked about this, just like how do you exit this kind of industry, right? Like if we
Mm-hmm.
put it for sale now, very low, right? But what about like the roll up method? What if we get into, what if we just, stabilize it even more, right? Grow it a little bit more. But
Mm-hmm.
how many other salons that were shutting down that already has,
That
because,
you could scoop them up.
exactly. What if we say, hey, let's just roll it up and just kind of start rolling it up
Mm-hmm.
and explain to the audience? Tracy, do you want to explain to them what the roll up
Oh,
method
so
is?
rolling up is taking, so what I'm doing in I'm doing a scale up basically in Charlotte where I'm going to have 10 stores. And when you put 10 stores together, they're worth way more than just one by itself. But you have another option of a roll up is buying other businesses and putting them all together. So 10 auto stores, 10 salons, 10, and you put them together. And again, just by being together, they don't even have to be more profitable, but they're worth 2 to 3x more because they're together, because they have shared resources and they have continuity. You don't even have to change the names, but because they're a chain, they're worth more. So there's that.
Yes. So maybe, just toying with those ideas, right? Like how do we exit out of it? Because some of them, the mouse pod, they may not know how to do these ads, that
No,
you've been working.
right.
This consulting, consulting small business. So we can take that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And take maybe 5 different salons and say, guys, we'll partner up. We'll be, hey, everything's going to stay the same. We'll just partner up. We'll help you find investors. We'll help you find,
Right.
sorry, funding and money to kind of grow your business more. And
Yeah.
then we focus on our 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 marketing, right? We focus
Mm-hmm.
on our brand,
Mm-hmm.
on AdWords,
Mm-hmm.
social media. What we can do, like what you have been an expert at, is like how do we pump more eyeballs into this business, put it all together, right? And
Right.
then that could be sold to a hedge fund, or you
Mm-hmm.
can exit better.
Yep.
I don't know,
But that's the
something.
thing is that so you start with one piece. Like they had a business buying seminar this week and they talked about like breaking it down to its smallest thing, like fix one piece. So the easiest thing to I think for most people is to fix the lead flow. Like where do you get your customers and how can you get them consistently without breaking the bank? So if you could build a little machine that's constantly that you just turn on and leave alone, but that will constantly pump people into your business, draw them to you, and then once they're there, that's your opportunity to get more out of them, to know, to understand them, to follow up with them, to set their next appointment, to do all the things, right? If you get them to come in, then you can work on, okay, how do we make their experience so amazing the first time that they only want to come to us, right? So step one is how do I build the machine to do that, which is one thing. And then the second piece is how do I make their experience so amazing when they redeem their free thing or whatever that this is their place now. We've won them
Yes,
over. And that it's
exactly.
got to not only the first time, but the second time, the third time, and the fourth time, it has to be. There's a saying,
Yes,
um, I know we have to wrap up in a minute, but there was a guy and he had this whole plan for restaurants and he said, you give a free appetizer, they sign up. And when they come in and you give them the free appetizer and you're like, oh, you love the appetizer, you got to try the chicken. Here's a coupon, come
yes,
back, I'll give you a free chicken. And they don't come by
yes,
themselves, they bring their family. So then they come back, they have the
exactly.
chicken. And then after they have the chicken, they hand it in. The manager comes over, he says, how was the chicken? And he said, it was amazing. And he says, oh, you got to try our steak. Then he gives them a steak coupon. Then he gets them in the next time. Then he said gives them, and then he did a whole napkin service or like where a certain tablecloth was for how many visits they've been. So they knew how to treat them to make sure. Isn't
That's
that
so cool.
crazy? And then the
That's
final one was
awesome.
like, you've got to try our cheesecake. Come next time. I'm going to give you, I'm going to buy you dessert. So now I've given them four things, but they've come in four times.
Yes,
And now
yes,
you're their place. But he said, but most people are not willing to invest that experience, that effort to get them to that place. They think, oh, I gave you
yes,
free appetizer. That's it. Here's a coupon. Here's a coupon. But like it's rolling out the red carpet and showing them that you're the place to be.
exactly, exactly. I mean, that's just because we get. Okay, I'm gonna admit. All right, I'm gonna admit. We get tired. we
We
think.
do.
We think.
We get
We
burnt
think we
out.
can go. we think we can go on that first date. We'll take it to the 5-star restaurant. You know, so I'm talking about analogy.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay. After that, we're like, okay, fine. And then the next day, we go to a McDonald's. Like we stop putting in the work in the
Yeah.
relationship, right?
Well, we
Like
get
we're here. So,
comfortable. We get
yeah,
comfortable and we just get tired and we're not as excited anymore.
the honeymoon stage is gone. We're like, okay, and I'm
Okay.
saying that for
Yeah,
they're like,
no, it's
okay, we're
true. It's true.
because the way I feel now, and I'm like, I gotta reboot this salon. Like I can't let it just dwindle
You
down.
don't
Like
want it to let it die. I mean, you could let it die, but the facts are is that you've already invested time, money, and energy into it, and it means something. So why not spend a little time and energy to make it good again,
exactly.
better, right?
I, without me stepping foot into it, I don't even spend
Exactly.
30
No,
minutes
little
on the
bit.
phone.
Yep.
Just a little. What if I
Doesn't
spend a
require
little
you
extra?
all the time anymore, like when it
Exactly.
started. So,
Exactly.
all right. Well, okay,
So
I think this is
anyway,
a
so
good place to leave it.
yes,
Can you
awesome,
hear me?
awesome. I can.
Oh,
I'm here.
yes. Okay, good. I think like we do that, and then I think you and I should talk about building you a machine because I'm doing it as a challenge in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Anyway, that's a whole other thing.
No,
But
I
I think otherwise I'll just help you as a case study.
well,
All
awesome.
right.
Well, no, let's do it, guys. Thanks for visiting us, and we will see you guys next week.
Episode 5 is done. See ya.